This is Lesson 8, Simple Machines in the Real World, from the Simple Machines unit. In this unit, the students will identify wedges and screws as variations of inclined planes. They will also identify wheels and axles as variations of levers, and they will find examples of simple machines in the real world. You're going to start this lesson by reviewing the 3 types of simple machines students have already worked with: levers, pulleys, and inclined planes. The next thing you're going to do is introduce wedges, and you will give 2 wedges to each group. You can spend some time reviewing vocabulary at this point. Depending on your class and where you are at in terms of vocabulary, you can either talk about the 2 sides, one being shorter, one being longer, and then the longest side. Or if you are ready for more specific vocabulary at this time, you can talk about the base, the height, and the hypotenuse. The first thing you'll want to do is have the students put the 2 wedges together so that either the 2 bases or the 2 heights are matched up together to make a wedge. Allow the students some time to practice using this wedge as the simple machine. You can take 2 stacks of books and have them use this wedge to push the 2 stacks of books apart. Have them experiment with putting different parts of the wedge together. Try it with the bases together, try it with the heights together, and have students really physically feel the difference in the amount of effort that they're having to put in order to do that work. Reviewing again that the simple machine means that it's a machine that uses just one type of force in order to get the work done. The next thing you're going to do is to show the students the nail and talk about how the nail is a type of wedge as well. Have them examine the point of that nail and notice that that is 2 inclined planes together too. Talk about how that nail is used with force as a wedge when it's going into wood or any other substance. After students have had a chance to look at the nail, start to talk about how in some lists a screw is also considered to be a type of wedge. And allow students some time to consider why that might be true and whether they would consider it to be that or not. The next thing you're going to do is to pass out the paper that has the 2 inclined planes and ask them to cut it out, the larger one and the shorter one. Now students are going to see how that actually demonstrates how the screw works. Have them hold that paper and wrap it around the pencil so that the lines from that inclined plane now look like the threads on the screw. Talk about again how it's one type of force needed in order to do the job, and that's what makes it a simple machine. They can look at the 2 different screws that they have demonstrated with their pencils and look at how one, it's longer and the threads are closer together. With the other, it's a little shorter and the threads are farther apart. Have them compare and contrast, not just the images, but what amount of work they would have to do, how much force they would need to apply in order to get it done, and talk about different scenarios where the different types of screws would be needed. The next simple machine that you're going to talk about with the students is the wheel and the axle. In this, you're going to be talking a lot about the differences in the radii between the wheel and the axle and how that difference is what changes the amount of force needed and the amount of work it's able to do afterwards. And that the greater that difference is, the more work that it's able to do. After students have had some chances to work with the wheel and axle and with the wedges, they're going to make observations in their workbooks. They're going to not just observe what each type of simple machine does, but they're also going to talk about what the benefits and maybe potential drawbacks are for each type. As they've finished that, there is another activity in their workbooks, bringing in some nonfiction reading for them to incorporate those Common Core state standards. They'll do some reading about Rube Goldberg and about Rube Goldberg machines. This is a great chance to really spark their imaginations. You can find a lot of Rube Goldberg examples online, and there are some simple puzzles for them to work on as well. As they've done that, you can have them share which were their favorite and why. And if you have a science corner or a discovery area, this is a time kids really enjoy starting to put together some of their own Rube Goldberg machines and really allow them a chance to apply everything they've learned throughout this whole unit. That would be a great culminating activity as well. Thank you.